Good Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gavin Batista back to the airwaves of the United States of America and the world. We are now back at the Prosperity Channel. I'm very sorry about the 2 weeks delay. The reason being I had an operation on my left eye, on my eyelid, and it's thank God, in perfect condition, thanks to Dr. Tracy K, which I'm going to explain in a few hours on how good this doctor is. She is the top dermatologist in Edmond, Oklahoma, which is considered the safest city in the world. So to Dr. Tracy K, my sincerest thanks. And my eyelid, as you know, and this is my left eyelid, is completely gone, cured. And I hope it is making you, my audience, make me look good or make me look perfect. Moving on, it is June 1 here in the great state of Oklahoma, and I'd like to really come out with a blitz news forecast on what is going to happen next with regards to the United States of America, because it is very obvious that President Trump is being attacked on all corners by these paid journalists. Who are they? One of them is Collins, okay? And I will provide you a long list of so-called journalists who attack President Trump with no basis whatsoever, because they are simply paid journalists. So to make things matter very clear, I have a battery of lawyers to prove to you that these individuals are nothing but paid journalists to attack the integrity, the economic programs, the international programs, and the list goes on of President Donald Trump. So this is bad for you, the listeners, because if you believe, you're going to lose money, social friends, and the list goes on. And so I would like to be very clear, do not listen to this paid journalist, because they will, number one, just poison your good mind, and number two, you will lose money. And at the Prosperity Channel, not to sound materialistic, not to sound extravagant, not to sound very, very money oriented, but to simply sound very prosperity oriented, do not, in the name of your God, whether your God be Jesus Christ, Allah, Buddha, the Sanskrit, or whatever it is, do not listen to these people. Because these people will make you very, very poor. And I hope you don't get into that situation. So, the next topic. The 37 trillion budget, which actually is down to 36 trillion. How will America solve this problem? America will not solve this problem in just one term of 4 short years of President Donald Trump. Okay? I'd like to make that very, very clear. It cannot happen. That's a lie. That's a complete hoax. Not unless there will be a miracle. Okay? Not unless there will be a miracle, or if I may say, the second coming of Jesus Christ. By the way, I'm Roman Catholic, but I have a very wide concept of what religion should be understood. And that is why I salute the famous actor Tom Cruise for reinventing, so to speak, Christian religiosity based on scientific reason. There was a lady who just approached me a few weeks ago, and they said that I was, insane. And I told this lady, obviously that is a complete lie, because if I were insane, so many billionaires will be insane. And I told her point blank, ma'am, the reason why they're saying that is because of my millions of audiences. They want to rob me of that particular, if I may say, income stream. And so the lady point blank told me, yes, I knew that you were never insane, because I named my son after you. She said, I named my son after you. My name originally is Gavino, Gavin for short. My middle initial is D for Donato, and last name is Batista, originally from Quezon City, Philippines. And this lady point blank told me that if it were not for you, Mr. Batista, I would not have made so much money. I have not, if it were not for you, I'd like to reiterate that. If it were not for your prosperity channel, I would not have ever made this money, humongous money, monies that I was able to get. I said, congratulations. That's why I'm here. That's why God created me, okay, to make you prosperous. And there was this Chinese son of a bitch, pardon the expression, that said so many things about me. Now he's apologizing. You know why? Because his surrogate screwed him. His surrogate used me, okay, like, because this is global, by the way. The Prosperity Channel is global. Used me, and he got the information and sold it to this Chinese billionaire. But the Chinese billionaire now is saying, I don't know what this guy Sonny is saying, because Sonny lied to him. In other words, the formula that Sonny told the billionaire is not his idea, and he lied. Because the billionaire kept on asking questions. What do I do now? The markets are going down. My liquidities, my equities are all going down. But what happened really was Sonny was just copying me and extorting information from my wife named Nancy to NSWE. That's what really happened. You know why? Because, you know, in any business, there is always a better formula. And if you're not updated, you lose your shirt. Meaning to say, you will lose money. And to cut the long story short on this particular $36 trillion deficit, it can be achieved. ladies and gentlemen, we can reduce it drastically. And for the next presidency, hopefully it will be another Republican, they can continue reducing the deficit to zero, from $37 trillion to zero, if the formulas are accurately done. Okay, let's move on, because that formula is going to be submitted this week to President Trump. But I am just making sure that FedEx and that criminal Filipino, sad to say I'm also Filipino, but I'm being honest with you, robbed me in Barranca, Irvine, California. He got all the data and sold it to another Filipino billionaire. I repeat, the data, the proposal I'm about to submit to President Donald Trump might be robbed again. That's why I'm holding back and making sure that I am not going to be copied, robbed again. And to Kristi Noem, the good Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, that person, who is a Filipino, was in Mount Carmel Church, okay? Mount Carmel Church in 2013-14, and he was trying to apologize to me because he robbed the intellectual properties that he did not understand. Secretary Noem. And he was there trying to apologize in the church of New Manila, Philippines, Quezon City, Philippines, from 2013 to 2014. And yes, obviously, Secretary Noem, Kristi Noem, I did not accept his apologies. And the current CEO of FedEx knows about this. So I'm not bluffing or lying again. The current CEO of FedEx knows about it. Excuse me. And therefore, moving to the next, because I know so many of you, especially in New York, are just, oh my God, how do I call it? Just hoping that I stay on the air. Because they're making a ton of money. A ton of money. My salute, my warm regards to my friends in the great state of New York. So to the greatest, moving on to the next topic, because I know so many have missed me. Millions of my viewers have missed me. And to my friends in Washington, D.C., led by the greatest Secretary of State, Mr. Marco Rubio. I salute you, Mr. Rubio, that because in just less than 200 days, or less than 190 days, you have exemplified truly the best, how do I call it? I'm lost in words, Mr. Rubio, Secretary Rubio, that you, with all the pressure you're getting, you are simply accepting all this negative and positive pressure with all level of laxity. This is no word that you can find in the Oxford Dictionary of relaxicity, composure, and the ability to answer coherently, accurately what the so-called brickbats accuse you of, namely of being what? Recalcitrant, being pathetic. I'm shocked. Because without your composure, we would have World War III by now. But because Vladimir Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu, relies on you, believes in you, trusts in you with all their lives, you are able to quell World War III. Together with, of course, one of the greatest Pentagon secretaries of all time, Secretary Hegseth. You were able to stop World War III in just what, less than 190 days. And for me, that is the greatest achievement of the century. Of the century. And that's why Big Blue is asking me, Gavin, please, we would like to sponsor you. And to my friends in New York, all you gotta do is give me a call at 405-503-8511. That is my US cell phone number. And I will send you that email this Monday. By the way, we are Sunday Central Time. You can imagine we're the only ones taping on a Sunday here because of the millions of people all over the world, including in Russia, including in China, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Singapore, Great Britain, Germany, and the list goes on, wants to learn about what's really happening in the United States of America with no paid news. Accuracy, brevity, direct to the point, highly reliable with no paid news. So Russia, Secretary Rubio, President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, can be sold tomorrow morning. Because Russia already, their surrogates already have in a way said, I'm not interested with a pope. Okay? I'm not interested with anybody. I'm interested with professionals like you, Gavin Batista. Business people, entrepreneurs, who can resurrect Russia overnight again. And this war will end tomorrow morning. There will be a ceasefire, there will be a signing at Vladivostok, end of war. And I will submit that proposal Monday, hoping that FedEx will finally give me that red carpet treatment under the new CEO. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the most important topic for this afternoon, 1:29 Central Time in Oklahoma City, is addressed to the greatest Department of Health, Robert Kennedy Jr., whose father was assassinated in California. In California. What a shame. A highly democratic state. He got shot there at the Embassy Hotel. And this I can tell you, Secretary Kennedy, I know there were some, I don't want to call it, because this is all, by the way, impromptu. We don't have any scripts here. Miscommunication, Secretary Kennedy. But the bottom line is we have the new approach to solve cancer as soon as possible. I cannot say, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning, because I know so many millions, at least 60 million people, professionals all over the world, want this to be solved. And we have the solution. And really, the major breakthrough we have with Secretary Kennedy, which is part of the proposal I'm going to submit to President Trump tomorrow, assuming it will not get robbed, is that we have to end trans fats, which I think you're ending it right now. We have to end all of these ingredients that they put in food, beverage, what have you, including pharmaceuticals, as you know. And that's why I am completely, and I told you, you are the man, because ultimately, with your new policies, we can solve the #1 problem of America today, which is dying early. Dying early at the age of what? 60, 65, 70? Come on, give me a break. That is so stupid. You are the United States of America and you die at 60, 65, 70? Isn't that so stupid? When in Japan, the normal death age of the rich would be about 100 plus. And therefore, what I like to say, Secretary Kennedy, is that you have the power right now. And the only way to stop you is again for you to get assassinated by the Republicans, by the Democrats. I'm sorry, I was still thinking, Secretary Kennedy, of your great father who got assassinated at the Embassy Hotel. Because as I was telling my friends at the Pentagon, the only way we can stop all of this assassination is to assume, is to beyond a doubt say you are going to get killed. And as you know, I got killed 18 times. 18 times, 16 times in Asia and 2 times here in the United States of America, specifically in Hesperian in Victorville. And the other one was a complete car accident in another place in California. So with the north, south, east, west method of assuring that you will not get assassinated is to assume that you are going to get assassinated. And therefore there should be the north, south, east, west approach of 100% security that you will not be assassinated, just like what happened to President Trump. Because as you know, ladies and gentlemen, a few months ago, President Trump almost died. He got shot. And one of these guys who don't like the president said, if he really got shot, his whole ear would have exploded. Bullshit again. Oh my God. Part of the expression, by the way. But that's how unprofessional, to say the least, when it comes to American journalism. That's what's happening right now. Because if I come out with a half-baked statement with my mouth right now, I will end this channel, Prosperity Channel, right now. That's why there are so many sponsors in the world right now and in America that would like to make this channel last for a very long time, if not forever. So I'd like to end this particular sequel with the main question right now: where is the U.S. economy headed to? Ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you, with my honor on the line, and believe me, all the multinationals in the world, from Procter & Gamble to Mitsubishi to Unilever in Great Britain, listen to me every second of their lives. And I'm telling you right now, the Trump economy will be so big because of Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent, one of the greatest Treasury secretaries of all time. Because we will create a 5-year plan that will assure 5 things: the budget deficit, the continuous prosperity of new business in America, the resurgence, number 3, the resurgence of manufacturing in America. From watches to, what is this? All the products you can find in Walmart, for crying out loud, will be manufactured in the United States of America, or co-manufactured, if you may, because we have the plan already. In fact, we submitted that to Ben Bernanke, so we're not new in this game, or if you want to call it a game, but we call it an industry. We're not new at all. We know what we're doing. We know what will fail and not fail. And above all, the money velocity, which is the most underestimated economic measure in the world, will be constant. In other words, people are going to be happy. Instead of shooting your enemy, Charlie, the black guys who keeps on shooting fellow Americans will be gone. Why? Because they have the money for the first time in their lives. Why shoot when you have the money? They shoot because they don't have the money. They have jobs. They will have jobs. They will have money to spend for their mother and father. And also for the white trash people, if I may say, because the Californians are really mad. That's what they told me. If we did not have these black guys and this white trash in our Californian economy, we would be number 1. But they're still there. You get an argument with them, you touch their car, they pull the gun, they shoot you. You go to a fast food. You quarrel over what? Mayonnaise? Mayonnaise, for crying out loud. That small packs of mayonnaise. You quarreled me, I shoot you, point blank. But we want this to end. Okay, fine. America is not perfect. So goes with other countries. We are not perfect. This is not paradise. I'm not going to lie to you. America is not paradise. It is not. But this is what I'm going to tell you. With the proposals, I am going to send President-elect one of the greatest, if not the greatest, presidents of all time, President Trump. The shootings will end. The shootings will end state by state. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before I end this particular sequel, I know I have a big apology to tell you that during the last 2 weeks, there were so many investors wanting to buy me out already, but I said no. You know why? Because I don't want to become paid news. I don't want to be used. I don't want to be used again by so many other companies, including the company in Cincinnati and in other parts of the world. I am not going to become paid news. I am going to be accurate news. I am going to be prosperity news for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If our friends in Big Blue would like to sponsor our next 1 million sequels because of AI, all you got to do is give me a shout at my US cell phone number 405-503-8511, or you can hit me with an email at superdeals1494 @gmail.com. One more time, 405-503-8511, and my US cell phone number is at my email number, my US email number is at superdeals with a plural S. I love S. Superdeals1494 @gmail.com, and send me a like if you like this particular sequel at Google's famous YouTube channel, The Prosperity Channel. Gavin Batista, your host, at your service, ready to make you prosperous.